Welcome everybody to PrideTV.com.au. I'm Lindsay and today I'm just absolutely honoured, ecstatic and probably a little bit proud to be talking to Peter and Douglas, who are the first people to be married under Scottish law. Scottish law. Got that out. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much.
First of all, how does it feel? You know, like now that you're actually, because your civil relationship was recognised, now you have that piece of paper saying, well, now we're married. Does it change anything?
Well, I see it this way. We got married on the 28th of August 2010, and now the law has caught up with us.
Yeah.
So really the marriage that we went through on the 16th of December was the exchange of certificates. So we took in our civil partnership certificate and were given instead a marriage certificate that said that on the 28th of August 2010 we were married.
Fantastic. So a very, very short ceremony. There was no veils and confetti or anything like that.
Yeah.
So how did you actually manage that? Like, how did you, Scottish law, the marriage equality laws have changed. Did you give them a ring and say, well, we want to get married, but we don't want to go to Scotland? How did that all come about?
Yeah, well, Tony Abbott did an interesting thing. Given he's supposedly against equal marriage, and there are no plans to introduce legislation. When England introduced equal marriage, Tony Abbott allowed the British embassies in Australia to offer weddings. So when the Scottish legislation passed, I emailed the British consulate in Melbourne, because I know them a little bit through various other things, and sort of said, look, are there any plans to offer Scottish marriage and the exchange of civil partnership certificates through the Melbourne consulate? And they said yes, and they said 2 weeks ago they let us know that it would be all available on the 16th of December, and in the course of that we realised, we're the first in the world.
Wow. And I saw today on social media, there was actually acknowledgement or recognition from the Scottish Parliament. Did I see that correctly? Because I was just sort of scrolling down.
Yeah, they passed a motion in the Scottish Parliament yesterday congratulating us and welcoming us as the first people to be married under Scottish law.
Fantastic.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling.
I mean, when you started this, you probably never ever thought that this would happen.
No, not at all. No.
So, but one thing is, when I'll use when rather than if, when marriage equality finally does come to Australia, does that mean that you will have to get married again under our law, or is that recognised? Your Scottish marriage.
That's a good question. I think that they will then recognise same-sex marriages that happen outside of Australia.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be the case. That would be the fair thing to do.
Yeah, it's worth noting the bar on recognising foreign same-sex marriages makes Australia very different from most other developed countries. Even countries that don't have equal marriage, they usually respect the marriages that were conducted overseas, or at least see them as an equivalent to the relationships in this country. But our marriage certificate doesn't even qualify us to be de facto in Australia.
An interesting fact is that I lived out of Australia for about 24 years and decided to come back because I've got ageing parents, so we had to go through, Douglas had to go through the whole immigration policy and process, and we were explicitly told we weren't to use the civil partnership certificate, which was quite shocking, really.
The way it was explained to us was that if we introduced the certificate to the application process, it would invalidate the application.
It would be detrimental.
It would count against us.
So when we hear things like this, we realise just what a backward country we really are. Because there's so many people. There's so many people that are going to New Zealand, New York. I have friends that went to New York to get married. And one of my lines is, look, if you can prove to the government that it's actually going to make money for it, monetise marriage equality, then maybe you'll say, oh yeah, well let's do it, you know, because they're losing money hand over fist as it is at the moment.
Absolutely,
And you know, every country that's introduced it, there's been this sort of wonderful sort of festival atmosphere when it comes in, and you'll always have a minority, predominantly an elderly minority, that are against it. You know, that's happened in every single country. But I think, you know, politicians like, for example, David Cameron in England, realised that it was a progressive thing to do, but also a conservative thing to do, and there was very little, you know, loss to him in introducing it, and a lot of benefit to it. And you know, the Scottish Parliament followed suit. So.
And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but none of those countries have fallen into chaos or anarchy.
No. It's funny that, isn't it? I believe the devil actually flew over a couple of times, you know, and picked up. But you know, because one of the things is, I was talking to a pal who works at the VAC, and I have to admit, I'm rather here with marriage equality. I have my own reasons for wanting it, and it's basically, you know, the human rights issue. And you know, if, like, to me, if you love your partner, you're there for anyway. You know, if somebody said to me, "Want to get married?" I think I'd just go, "Oh yeah, right," but get the presents and run. But there are all these other things that marriage equality actually affects, and he was saying that in countries that where marriage equality is in operation, and you know, people are marrying, that the HIV infection rate has decreased dramatically. That, you know, gay people seem to be a lot more happier. They're fostering a lot more children, things like that. So there's an awful lot of positives based around this issue that I think Tony Abbott's missing.
Yeah, and an economic gain in one of the countries that have done it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, New Zealand, perhaps because Australia doesn't have marriage equality, has had a big tourist boom from you know, marriage tourists.
Yeah, and I like that. Okay, so both of you are marriage equality advocates. Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, because I read your post. Now you will continue that fight in Australia, that sort of battle for, you know, our marriages to be recognised.
Yeah.
And to be able to do so. Yeah. Well, guys, it's been absolutely fabulous talking to you both.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And one day we would like to see the real wedding in the, you know, the veil and the confetti and everything. If you could conjure that up for us. Guys, thank you ever so much, Douglas and Peter. And we have some delicious scones here now that the boys have baked. So we're off for a cup of tea and scones. Thank you very much for watching.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.